Hi, my name is Eric Simpson. Most people just call me Bart, and today's metal shaping video is going to be titled The Fat Fender, and it's brought to you by the good people at Trick-Tools. The good people at Trick-Tools. Today's video, the Fat Fender video, because we'll be making a Fat Fender. I'm going to put this wheel up into my custom wheel holder here to kind of show you what I'm doing. Okay, this is called an Alaskan bush wheel, and they make them in all sizes. This is just a medium, 29-inch, I believe. These are used in aircraft that their primary use is for flying hunters and fishermen into the backcountry of Alaska and Idaho, places where they don't have an airstrip, much less a runway. And they run over a lot of debris and things like that. And they want me to make a fender to help deflect all the rocks and other debris that gets launched up into the lower wings of their planes and the horizontal stabilizer. So that's what we're doing today. And the good thing is I have the wheel or the tire, and we can actually use that as a buck. So we're going to be making a short fairing, a short fender that's sitting 1.5 inches above the wheel, a little bit to the back. And they're just, compared to the wheel, they're just going to be short, stubby fenders, that's all. And we'll see how it works out. So if you want, stay around and watch the video. All right, pay attention. This is going to be on the test. All right, so if you're sitting in the airplane in pilot seat and you're looking out over the left wheel, this would be the left side of the fender, the right side of the fender, the front of the fender, and the rear of the fender. And there's several ways you can go about doing something like this, and you can apply this to projects you're working on at home or whatnot. You could do the whole thing in stretch. You know, you could get your sandbag and your hammers out and pound on it for 2 or 3 days and wind up with a reasonably good product. But that's thinning the metal. That's doing it all in stretch. You could do it on the English wheel. In this particular application, the better way, in my opinion, is to shrink some and stretch some. Therefore, you don't have to stretch as much. You don't have to thin the metal as much. So what we're going to do on this particular piece is we're going to thumbnail shrink it. But we don't want to touch this area because it would be counterproductive, because this is where the reverse curve goes, or the ducktail. And that's normally done with linear stretching dies. And that would be hitting it here, going the reverse direction. That's that's about it on this. We'll get to work on it, and hopefully it won't wind up in the garbage pail, because that never happens to me, right? Okay, just a brief explanation in case you don't know or about thumbnail shrinking dies. It's very similar to if you were tuck shrinking with the stump, the old-fashioned way of getting your tucks in there and then beating them down into themselves. It's just much faster and much more accurate. So when these are together, the metal will come in here and it'll raise up like this, like my finger, and then as you pull it out, it pounds this tuck back into itself. I've already done one set of shrinks on this side. So as you can see, the panel's starting to go like that, starting to go like that. So we'll do it over on this side. So this is the first tuck that hasn't been knocked down. First tuck comes in, and then as you pull it out, it'll knock it down again. You don't want to pull it out too far because it'll coin this, it'll make a bump like that. And if you pull it out too far, it'll also stretch the metal. So you'll be shrinking and stretching, kind of self-defeating. You want to stop right there. And you'll see there, you want a teeny little loose spot right there. That means you haven't stretched the metal. You've pounded it down a little bit too short. If you go out past there, you can overstretch the metal and coin it. All right, so we'll start doing this first set. While I'm doing this, I'm not watching the dies or anything so much. I'm watching the metal. And I'm putting slight pressure down, not a whole lot. And the more you do it, the more you'll understand how little pressure to put down. It's not much. The machine does the work for you. Now you'll see it's starting to get what's called loose, a little bit wavy here. You just take care of that by tapping it down every now and then, but don't over tap. Just tap it down. Just want the flat part of the guide to hit that little loose spot to tap down. And you don't have to do it all the time, but you don't want it to get out of control. Okay, so we're not going to go quite as deep this time, and we'll start from the middle, go this way, start from the middle, go that way. And we'll try to go in between our previous shrinks, trying to, but the metal's more going to dictate where you need to go. But you generally try to go in between your previous shrink. All right, so what we've done so far is we've shrunk along the edge. We're staying off here because that's where the reverse is going to go. So we shrunk on the edge. It's starting to go this way, like this. And this is going to be a real low crown area here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start radial stretching in this area. And it's going to be a back and forth thing. I'll start radial stretching. I'll go over to the buck, which in this case is the wheel, the tire, and we'll set it on there and see how it's coming in. And then we'll shrink a little bit more and check it on the buck, and then we'll stretch a little bit more and check it on the buck. And it's just going to be a progressive process like that until we get it to where we want. This Baileigh PH-28HD, I have it currently. It has three adjustments: the speed, the gap, and the stroke. The stroke's primarily what gives you the power. Anyways, I'm on about 20-25% power. It's a very, very hard hitting machine, but you can tune it down to where you can almost planish with it, depending on what type of alloy you're using and stuff. You can actually planish with it. So it has a real wide variety of how hard it will hit, and it has really fast die changes. Just saying. All right, here we go. And on this, I try to be fairly even on my hits, but more importantly, you're watching what the metal's doing, and you try to see what it's doing. And if you want to work slow, And if you see a problem occurring, deal with it right then and there before it gets worse. Okay, what we're doing, we're shrinking on the sides and stretching in the middle. Thumbnail shrinking on the sides, radial stretching in the middle. We're staying off the rear of it because that's where the reverse curve or ducktail is going to go. So we're going to start bringing that in now, the reverse curve. And the way we're going to do that, you can do it with an English wheel. You could do it with a shrinker stretcher for that matter. In this particular case, we're going to do it with linear stretching dies. So we're going to start hitting it like this, and this is going to start coming up. And then we're just going to start the process over again. And in between each shrinking, stretching, linear stretching, in between each one, we're going to come back to the tire and see how it's going. Make sure everything's going in the right direction and nothing's getting goofy. Okay, it's slowly starting to come up, and that's what I want it to do. It gets a little goofy in here because you're kind of like hitting, like if you're using a hammer in a bag and you're hitting on a hollow. So I'm also, at the start of this, I'm lifting it just ever so slightly. You don't want to gouge the metal here. I'm lifting it ever so slightly to get the metal to start moving in that direction. Once it starts moving in the direction, you don't have to do any lifting. And I mean, you don't have to lift much at all. You just want to get it started going in that direction. Okay, we're almost done. This is what it's looking like. About all we have left to do on it is to planish it. And I'm going to do that in the mech hammer. I'm not going to video that because I did a whole video for Trick Tools on the mech hammer itself. if you haven't seen it or you're interested in the Mac hammer or plainish hammers in general, take a look at the video on Trick Tools. But while I was radial shaping this on the Baileigh hammer, I was thinking to myself, I wish I had a die that could blend on the power hammer. If there was only a die that was, like 6-inch radius and with a flat top of about an inch flat on the top, and then you could use that to blend in everything on there. So I came over here to the Trick Tools website and you went to categories, came down to metal shaping and forming, tooling and dies, Baileigh Power Hammer tools. I started thumbing through here at all the available tooling for the Baileigh, and they have 4 pages of it. Very last tool on the very last page, and it says Baileigh Power Hammer 6-inch radius lower stretch die, and you click on product details. Take a look. It says lower planishing die is 1 inch flat with a 6-inch radius and a 3-inch outer diameter. Sure enough. All right. What a coincidence. Okay, so Bruce and the good people at Trick Tool have decided that for everybody that places an order and mentions this video, for every order of $200 or more, they're going to donate $1 to the GoFund Bart account to buy that die. Okay, they're not actually aware of this deal yet, but I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Okay, we've come to the end of the video where we're going to take the test and see the finished product. I told y'all there was going to be a test, so pay attention. A power hammer is good for, number 1, radial stretching. Number 2, linear stretching. Number 3, thumbnail shrinking. Or number 4, turning perfectly good metal into garbage. Okay, and the correct answer is yes. Okay, so here's the finished product. Remember, this is the front, this is the reverse, the ducktail. We got a radius going this way, all been verified with my radius gauge. It's got a radius going this way, radius going this way. All right, well, I hope y'all liked the video, and I appreciate y'all watching. Have a good day.